Welcome back to Les Schwab Tire Center's Outdoor GPS. It's time for Owin's Field Report, sponsored by Les Schwab Tire Centers.
The field report side of things is pretty simple. I don't know anybody that was fishing yesterday, honestly. Bill Monroe Jr., who we were planning on having today for a live report from the Lower Columbia, had to cancel with his clients just because of the conditions, which if you've ever hired a guide, that's why I hire good ones, because they're not going to take you out and just get you all abused for not very good opportunity. And that's pretty much what everybody's been thinking. It's just off-color conditions, high water in a lot of situations. The Willamette, I would be willing to bet that folks that are plunking either on the Columbia or the Willamette probably was the best bet, but no real reports to share there. But fish counts, let's just jump into those. Yesterday, we were able to show that there was actually a springer that had crossed Bonneville. They have not updated the Willamette yet, so let's go right to the Bonneville Dam, see if anything did travel yesterday. Nope, nothing went over yesterday, but still 4 total. Totally normal. This is absolutely what we want to see. So darn good stuff. And then, of course, steelhead is what it is at 594. Let's hope that that really goes crazy. I'm looking forward to spending some time chasing summer steelhead this year. Turbidity, much like we showed yesterday, it was starting to go back out. Not that it ever came back in. The lowest it got was down to 23, which is basically concrete. As now, it's up into the 30s. Yeah, I mean, it's just go play some baseball. Kids, I'm completely kidding. Don't go anywhere near that river. But it's just mud, no question. And everything down below the Willamette on the Columbia, same thing, just mud. It's going to be a little bit difficult for a little while because the Willamette is expected to start dropping, but then go back up again. And I think that's because of the warm weather we've got coming. We'll find out more from Peyton Major what that weather is really going to do. Looking at the Columbia, same thing, expected to make a bit of a bounce. I find it interesting because the vast majority of that water comes from the east side, if not northeast. So that'll be interesting to see what that does to the Columbia as we get towards the end of the month, which only leaves us 6 days in April for that fishery before it closes below Bonneville. All the smaller tributaries are starting to drop back into shape. By the middle of this upcoming week, no matter where it is that you might want to chase late winter steelhead, you're probably going to have some really good conditions. Now, again, it's technically late. I will be chasing steelhead through April, so there's a reason for that. At the very least, things are coming back around. Hopefully, it's just, these rivers might have a chance to kind of sustain and stay up a bit before they drop down to low, clear water conditions like they do in April, May every year. But it might just give us a little bit more time to chase some steelhead around, or maybe even an early springer that shows up in a tributary, but we're way down the road from talking about that specifically. We already showed you the turbidity river levels. Now let's go ahead and make sure you win something free. Send Jason over at Procure an email. It's jason@procure.com, and you'll have a chance to win this weekly prize pack. Every week you do need to enter in to have that chance to win. If you do, right now it's set up for spring Chinook. Everything you're going to want to set up your herring to be as good as possible. I don't know if I'm going to get to do that before it closes on the 6th, but I sure hope that I do. We'll see. We'll kind of see how that all works out together here going forward. I need a boat. I need the boat in order to do that. But let's find out what this weather is really going to be like this upcoming week, and hopefully it hasn't changed. I know that pretty much everyone is really looking forward, Peyton, to some nice weather in spring break in Oregon. We're not known for having dry, warm weather in spring break around here.
Right, and we're all jealous because our friends and family are probably in a warm spot right now, sending us photos. So yes, I know this view right now is not ideal, but it will definitely improve actually by this afternoon. 54 right there on our Rivermark camera. Also want to pull up Salem. A few little sprinkles there on the camera. 52, a little bit breezy out there. This is available moisture, kind of indicating an atmospheric river that's stretching from the subtropics, but notice the nose of it is actually kind of centering its attention on Washington and even up toward Canada. And so we're really just the kind of a bottom edge of this system, which is why only northwestern Oregon is getting some showers this morning, and then really a bulk of the heavy rain is heading right now towards Seattle and mainly the western side of Washington state, also toward Pendleton Hamilton, we're seeing some heavy rain over there this morning. So this is stretching pretty much down through Salem. Eugene is fully dry. We haven't seen much measurable rain. I think in the next couple hours we could pick up a couple hundredths of an inch. But this is the main talking point, right? That ridge that's developing. We've had a very stable kind of forecast the last couple of weeks, but this is finally going to change things up for us. So 66 for tomorrow, not going to be record breaking, but Tuesday really sticks out as that day that will likely beat a near 59-year-old record of 74 degrees. 76, I boosted that up a degree, but this is kind of changing depending on the arrival time of some clouds on Tuesday. So we'll see if we get to the upper 70s. Regardless, definitely going to be a record-breaking day. Wednesday in the morning going to be a little dry, but then by the afternoon we got some thunderstorm chances and then turning pretty wet and mild for the second half of the week, which is kind of indicative there on our river level forecast. So Wednesday, definitely a day to watch in case there is some isolated pop-up storms, but then it really looks like we're going to be cool and, yeah, back to the spring-like weather and down into the 50s Thursday, Friday, and then mainly dry as we head into next weekend.
Well, I don't mind. I'll be on the coast for a couple days. It'll be beautiful. I'll get back and just get back into reality in the latter part of the week. Peyton, as always, thank you. We appreciate you. All right, we're going to take this quick call. We've got Jeff from Portland. He's got a question about water level. Jeff, real quickly for everyone, what's your question?
Yeah, the question is how important it is for the water level. You know, when the rivers are blowing out, I understand that, you know, it's pretty apparent that you're not going to fish. But if it gets a little bit of new water, does it really make a lot of difference if the fishing's going to be increasingly better? If, you know, if there's just a little new water that comes down?
It does. I'll put it this way. I would rather have too much water than not enough, right? As long as I've got a little bit of clarity, I could care less if the river is raging, because what that does is it makes those fish more predictable. They're going to be in areas that you can get to because they're going to try to find any of the situations that they can that are soft water. Fish are just like people, inherently lazy, okay? They're going to try to find the softest seams that they possibly can anywhere they can get out of fast water. So as long as the clarity is in your favor, I would prefer to have a lot of water because I know where the fish are going to be. They're going to be right and tight. You're going to be able to get into small travel lanes where those fish are going to be condensed down, as opposed to them being suspended throughout the water column or even throughout the river system. They're going to be in very defined lines. And that's where either anchor fishing or trolling or back trolling in very specific spots, relying on good electronics, helps out tremendously with that. But big picture of things, I'd rather have too much water than not enough. And if it's more brown than green, I'm good with it. As long as I've got enough clarity where the fish can see what I'm offering them, and if I play the scent game the way that I'm supposed to, it's an advantage because that's where the fish are going to be. It just necks them down. It puts them in a much more defined line on where you can find them in any river system. Doesn't matter if it's, say, the Clackamas or the Columbia. Heavy water, they're going to move to the edges, or soft water seams wherever they can get out of that current. So hopefully that answers your question, sir.
Can I give a quick shout out to my good buddy Doug Hayes from Oregon Tackle?
Of course. My buddy's well. There's no relation. He just happens to be really good looking as well.
Yeah, he's a tremendous guy, and he's a super good guy. And then my buddy Jeff McFadden, he's a fisherman that I fish with here in town. Very cool. I'll actually see Doug and Lisa tonight, I believe, when we head over towards the coast. Sir, thank you. Cool. Yeah, he's a tremendous person. Well, thank you, sir. Again, I hope that answers your question for you. Have a great week, okay, and enjoy your spring break. All right, we're going to cut to a break. When we come back, I've got Mike Surdick from Ray Marine. I'm extremely excited about this. I mentioned in our little Facebook thing earlier prior to the show, I've been doing this for 17 years. I've never been able to talk about my boat, one, or my electronics, two, but now we get to do so with Ray Marine. We'll be back in just a couple of minutes.
Outdoor GPS is brought to you by P-Line, because we fish, by Hawken Fishing, perfection in fishing gear, and by Haxton's Canvas and Upholstery, the trusted name of the Pacific Northwest.